Welcome to another episode of Vice Press Open Channel. We have returned, hopefully triumphantly. I am your host, Flory. That man there is James Henshaw.
Hello.
That man there is Matt Ferguson. Hello, he says. And this is where we get together to just talk about things we've made, things we've watched, things we've done. And we've been away for a while, haven't we, boys? It's been a long while.
It has been 4 months.
For no particular reason. None of us had any life-threatening illnesses. No one's... We're busy doing stuff.
I've been very, very busy. And I'm very busy right now.
I think we've all been through our own personal mini breakdowns over the past four months. Fair to say. Busy, been busy, live stuff. Yeah.
I've not had a breakdown. I've just been driven to the point of rage a lot by everything around me.
Which is pretty much par for the course.
Pretty much normal, really, to be fair, isn't it? I'm an angry little man.
Thursday.
That's maybe why I liked Napoleon so much, because he's just so angry. And the whole thing with Napoleon in that film, I mean, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but basically, he just wants to control and everything in front of him, no matter what it is. And he's like a petulant little boy, and he just shoots cannons at stuff.
Perfect.
That's his thing. He's just like, I'm just going to shoot cannons at you. It's so good. I really liked it. It's got really weird, bad reviews because it's not historically accurate. And it's just like, within 5 minutes, I was like, yeah, I can see that this isn't meant to be historically accurate. It's like a comedy. They go to arrest a guy at one point, and he turns around and he goes, I'm trying to enjoy a succulent meal. And that's that Australian
Democracy
guy.
Manifest.
Yeah. I was like,
get your hand off my penis, sir.
Just can't touch my penis.
Well, this is a good start. Is this what people wanted back? Is this what they wanted back? Us doing like 15-year-olds?
James said to me yesterday that we should maybe do some more ads. And I was like, yeah, we can do this ad, do that ad. And then I said, the joke ad we should do is just me and James, like in a room, maybe a factory or something. Just go in. Posters.
Ads.
Posters.
The only problem with
that
that
would be
is
the
that
ad.
you're
That would be the ad that would go viral.
But you're not Michael Douglas, and he's not friggin' Paul Rudd.
Doesn't
That's
matter.
the problem.
It's awesome. It'd be the best. I've said it live on here now, so somebody will steal it probably.
Yeah,
those bastards.
Those mutant boys will do one probably like mutants.
Nah, I wouldn't have thought so, but who knows? Maybe.
We'll next time we're together, Matt, we'll have to do it and stick it on TikTok and find out. Have you seen? I'm the best auntie ever.
Oh,
you are
good for you.
Apparently so. Best auntie ever.
Auntie James.
I was at our Martha's cousin did call me Auntie Mac. So I was Auntie Mac for quite a long time.
None of that's right. What's wrong with that child? Stupid.
Like, literally couldn't talk. I mean, maybe because the child was like 1, whatever.
No excuse.
Gotta learn them.
Good old Auntie Mac.
Child.
I will be honest. I prefer the nickname Auntie Mac to the Ferg. I think Auntie Mac.
Ferg has been with me my whole life. They called me Ferg at school. Yeah.
Really?
Well, I thought you made that up, and I was like, I don't like this.
People do it. I've never liked it. People just call it me. Like the people that call me Ferg in the fan group, they started all that and online. And at school, I was called Ferg. I never liked it. Or just Ferguson. Ferguson!
See, that's more like, I like that because it's got a bit of like someone shaking their fist at thee, Which I assume you had fists shaken at you a lot in your younger years.
Yeah, the head teacher knew me by name at school.
Yep.
Well, then again, I think they know everybody's name somehow, like some weird magic power that head teachers
That
have.
is interesting. It's like the only thing that the principal knows. He doesn't do anything else. He just floats around and somehow knows everybody's name.
So then you're just like, scared, better be good.
How many kids do you have in your school?
Oh,
like in high school?
There was 90 in our year, and then that's like how many years? So it was 600 kids, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. So yeah, we had 4 groups of like 30 to 35. So
that
like 120, 140 per year.
That was
So
90
then-
per year in my school. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
so then, it was quite a big
Yes.
school. But we, for
About
such,
the
I mean,
same.
you've both been to Retford, where I live, the town. There's three
Sadly, yes, I have.
high. Thanks. 3 high schools there. How? Just the amount of kids that are spaffed out in where I live, it's just mad.
Can't
if you
afford
think
condoms. That's why.
So yeah,
It's just
probably.
like
So
smashing around.
each
Well-
year has each year at school like 400 quid.
Well, I'm off.
What should
Anyway.
we talk about other than just
June
this nonsense?
2.
Dune 2. I want to start on Dune 2 because I like Dune more than you
Go
two.
on.
Not the movies, just the book, because I grew up with the book.
In
I don't know if
general.
James grew up with the book. He might have. I just don't listen to him. So, which is terrible but true.
You told me
was I
this.
saying?
Yes, you told me this yesterday.
Bastard.
Yeah. He said. Matt said we were on this call. We were talking about some stuff, and he said, "I just
God,
want to let
I-
you know."
I have
Every
to
time you
interject because he started talking about margins and
yeah,
things.
you like every time you start talking, it's just like Santa's little helper, where it's like nap 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 nap.
You know, in that episode of The Simpsons where you see inside Santa's little
Yeah.
helper's mind. It's not when every time you talk, James. It's just
Yeah.
when you
Just-
start talking about like numbers.
Yeah.
Maths.
Anything.
Maths is
yeah.
the problem.
I once
When
had.
we were talking about other stuff, I was very engaged. I thought yesterday I was
You were.
enjoying our conversations very much.
I once had a builder when when we were doing the house up. I rang the builder up, and he said, "I can't wait till I never have to hear your what did he say? Your shrill little voice, shrill nasally voice again." I was like,
Perfect.
I was like,
Amazing.
great. Yeah.
Well, what? I'm like that. You don't have that much of a shrill nasal voice.
got
Was he
a-
like
you've got a
gruff? Was he
nice-
gruff? Was he?
You've got quite a nice dulcet voice, I think. It's
Well, I just
pleasant to
think-
listen to.
I just think it was because you two know me and how annoying I can be and how precise I can be and how
Were you
particular
up there with
I
the
can
tape
be.
measure, like remeasuring his measurements or something? I can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
paying him
perfect.
to
Awesome.
do a job. Anyway, yeah. So there's
Dune.
that's fun.
2, the first time I watched it, I found it difficult to detach myself from what I know because of the book, which I've read about like 20 times or something. I still really
Books.
liked it, but then second time that all fell away, and it reminded me a little bit of like Star Trek 2009. In that when I first saw Star Trek 2009, I hated it the first time because I was like, "That's not my captain," you know. I got really mad.
Yeah.
I went to see that wearing a Captain Kirk uniform. Anyway, then the second time I really liked it because the sort of problems that you have with it, you realise that maybe they're your own problems that you bring to it, your own expectations.
Oh, 100%.
And I loved it the second time. I thought it was absolutely brilliant.
Well, there you go. Well, I haven't read any Dunes. And
I thought you could say books then. I haven't read any
No,
books.
Never read a book. Yeah, I think people need to actually know now because I say it too often that I do like books. And books, we should all support reading. But I'm going to continue to say that books are for fucking nerds and you should watch movies, all right? And play video games because they're better. Dune, I've not read. Loved part 1. Didn't have any of this like, oh, I don't know what's going on. You're in a world, yeah? This is what we're doing. Just shut up and watch what's happening and listen to what the people are saying. This one fucking ripped. They just went for it and I thought it was awesome. It's like, this is an all-time cinema experience, Dune 2, I think. And people should see, I mean, everyone's seen it by now. When did it come out? It feels like it came out like 5 months ago.
It's like
Heard
3
that
weeks
much
ago.
chatter about it. Yeah, it's crazy. But just see it real big and real loud and just let it.
I'd be interested to see it at home and see how it stands up because it's so bombastic that carries you along as well. I don't know if it would be better or worse at home. What do you think, James?
I didn't care for it.
Fucking hell.
No, I'm being facetious.
Decent, he says.
It was so I really enjoyed part. So I have read the book and I've listened to the
Yeah.
audiobook and I do like
There's
it.
your
It's good.
problem.
But my problems aren't anything to do with how different from the book it is and all of that. I really enjoyed part 1. Loved part 1. Part 1's incredible, and I liked part 2. I did like part 2. I don't know. It just didn't grab me. I was on my own. I went to the cinema on my own. It was really pleasant. I had a hot dog. The hot dog was nice. Cheese on it and stuff.
7 out of 10 hot dog.
You know, it was middle of the day. It was great. It was quiet.
Best time to see
reclining seat.
See, I felt like that the first time. I wonder what would happen if you saw it again.
Yeah, I am going to go and see it again. It's just a being arsed thing. So I'll probably
Time is against us, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, I just keep feeling. I mean, I was saying to you yesterday, Matt. I'm quite lucky at the minute because I've got time to do stuff. So I keep filling it with stuff that. I mean, it's value added stuff for Vice Press and whatever. Anyway, but with Dune, yeah, it was. I don't know. I had a problem with how it was paced and edited. I just don't think stuff on first watching. I don't think Paul. We're going to go into spoilers, I guess. Is kind of fair to say. I struggled with how it was edited and how it was paced. I felt that stuff wasn't necessarily earned, though each individual performance was great. Apart from old Elvis, I thought his was a bit odd.
Well, it's like an impression of the Skarsgård, so it's a bit off-putting.
Yeah,
but I didn't mind it as much the second time.
But I think it's supposed to be though. I think that's the point. Like he is so fucked in the head or whatever. The only problem I had with him doing that is that no one else did it, and I'm like, you're all from the same family, same world. Yeah. You should probably sound like this because he's not his son; he's like his nephew, right? So why is he? That's the only thing. I'm like,
so what?
Yeah.
What was it about the editing that you thought?
I don't know. I think like Paul, for me, like with Jessica, his mom, she kind of had a little bit of a heel turn that was kind of just based on one paragraph, one sentence kind of thing, one discussion that they had. There was not, I don't think there was much that kind of on the arc that kind of warranted that. And similarly with Paul just seems to kind of turn into, you know, anyone that knows the books knows what happens with Paul and Paul's journey. For those that don't have seen the film, but it didn't kind of feel warranted or earned. Like you've got, you had Florence Pugh, the greatest living actress of all time, who was kind of just, I don't know, she just was quite underused. And again, those moments, those key moments, it just seemed like a montage. The whole film seems like a montage to me of moments rather than flowing through. Now, I kind of think what I think's happened, and again, like, oh, my chair's just gone. It's like. Objectively speaking, it's a 4 or 5 star film. It just didn't kind of grab me. But I think what's happened is Norman Man Zaslav's kind of said, okay, you've got one film to do this. Dune 1 did okay. We're kind of willing to take a risk on Dune 2, but you've only got one film to do it, and you've got to do it within a certain, you know,
that's the only, I agree, the only sort of criticism I can give them is, like the books, it should be 3 books because the Dune book is actually 3 different books.
Yeah, it's 3 parts, isn't it? It's kind of separated.
It's clearly separated, and it even, you know, titled that way with chapters within. And I think that, but then I also find myself thinking the best movies leave you wanting more, and that one kind of leaves you wanting more. So my issue with it is I would like more stuff.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? But then is that a good thing because you like go watch it again and then you get it. I don't know.
My issue with it though, and again, I'm saying issue. It's not because I do think it's a good film. I want more within the current story, not after the story. I want to kind of find out more. Like there was a kid. The standout moment for me is where Stilgar sets Paul off into the desert and says, right, you've got to go and survive this. That should have been, that in itself is like a 10-minute, 15-minute scene of him kind of proving himself. But then, you know, Chani shows up and it's like, okay, well, what happened there then? What's gone off there?
There was some editing
they went across the desert.
Obviously, but a lot of those things sort of fell away for me the second time.
I guess it's similar to what I was saying about the first one. Like for me, not knowing really, like I know vaguely remember the story beats or whatever, but probably from the David Lynch version mostly. But you don't miss what you don't know, I guess. Like,
yeah.
If you're willing to, like, I think with films, I just like being dropped into worlds a lot. I don't really care how things work. I would say that for Dune, these two films together as like a whole, it's probably one of the most like fully realized and believable like worlds that we've been able to
There's
inhabit.
stuff in the first one that pays off in the second one because it's one story, obviously, which is kind of because we watched it right before, obviously, so then that's fresh in your mind. So that did help. If you were just watching 2 and all you had was the princess's diary at the beginning saying what happened, you'd be like, what? So, you know, but I guess most people should have seen the first one before.
Well, you'd hope so if it's Dune Part 2 is the title.
A lot of people won't have, though. A lot of people won't.
I don't care about a lot of people. All I know is that when that fucking dude at the start in the suits, the bad boys in their black like spacesuit things, when he just said climb and they went and then they just like walked off the edge of the I was like, nah, this is it. Like, give them everything. This is the best movie I've ever seen. Incredible, like the production design,
it's really good.
Just the cinematography. Get that Aussie guy to do everything. Jesus, what does the movie look like, mate?
The main issue I have, it stems from the book. So then again, I understand how it's not really a valid criticism, but here I go anyway. So he's the Messiah, basically, but he's a very naughty boy. He's been genetically made to be that, and it's not real. It's like, is it fake? Is it not real? But he still is that ultimate being. And in the film, it's just because of the Bene Gesserit, and then
those fucking bitches.
And he drinks the blue water. But in the book, there's the whole thing with the Mentats, and they're the computer people because there's no computers in the future. They got banned because AI tried to destroy the universe, right? Which would be quite timely right now to be in it. Anyway, but Paul can do the Mentat shit, so he can do the eyes and compute anything, like that they do when they compute stuff. And he can do the Bene Gesserit magic witchy stuff. And it's those combined that make him like the ultimate being. Because in the film as it is, why isn't Jessica the ultimate being? Because she drinks the blue magic potion and can see visions and stuff. Because that's my only issue with it. Oh, because he's a bloke. That's the reason. Because he's a bloke. That's bullshit. Well, it's not because he's a bloke.
No, like
that's how it seems though in the film.
Well, to me, like I always took it as because all I have is what they've said and done, right? And what I've gleaned from just, sometimes they build their world, but you world build yourself. Like you're like, I guess I could see that happening in this world. When in the first one, they're like, oh, he's, basically trained in everything to the that's why he's like the sickest fighter. He's like the smartest dude. Yeah, but they just don't
mention the Mentat stuff at all. It's not even there.
But like, I just assume that he can because as we see, he can do everything. And then if you give a guy that can do everything, the blue stuff, like that's what made him go. I didn't know that he was a computer man.
Because what it is the computer, the Mentat stuff. So then he can see the multiple futures. So Bene Gesserit, they can't really do that. So he can see multiple futures, and then he can choose a path, which he calls the Golden Path, which he decides to do where his family and his, descendants save the universe and humanity doesn't die out. But in doing so, like trillions of people have to die, right? That's the basic storyline. And he decides to do that. But the key character thing, which they do keep in the movie, is he does it from his own point of view because he wants himself to stay alive and his family to stay alive. And is it necessarily the best thing? Because he's killing all these people.
He knows it's not.
That's the whole point. He's a baddie. Yeah, but in the book, he's much more determined just to do it for selfish means. But in the film, they kind of tweak it to be more like he feels like he's got no choice. And I feel like that's not quite right because he's just a jerk. He's just a massive jerk in the books, And he is a jerk in this, but not quite as clearly defined. So then it just doesn't quite land as well as the books. But if you've not read the books, then
I didn't have a problem.
Does it really matter?
Yeah. Well, this is a good question, really, isn't it? Because if you've read the books, you're somewhat filling in the gaps and making assumptions that what is happening is what's in the book. But then filmmakers make a clear decision not to include that stuff.
Yeah.
So actually, is it canon?
It's an adaptation. That world?
Well, the
different-
biggest
different
change is
version of the
Chani,
story.
right? So in the book, Chani is just all for it. She's all for it. She's like, marry the princess. I'll be your concubine. Cool. Let's have some babies. It's all good. Boom. She's not bothered. She's just totally lays down and takes it. But in the
See, I would
film,
hate
she's
that.
like, no, what you're doing is wrong, man. You're wrong. And it makes more sense because you've
Yeah.
not got the internal. Because in the book, it's all internal monologues. So you get that sort of what he's doing is not good. But you wouldn't get that in the film if she was
No.
just cool with it. You've got to have a character that's like, man, what you're doing is not cool. Killing everyone.
And that's why films are films, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway,
There's a lot.
5 stars. Good film. Loved it.
But it is an interesting one, isn't it? Like, everybody that I know that's watched the film that hasn't read the book absolutely fucking loves it. Like, really loves it. Like, I do. My opinion seems to be an outlying opinion, so I am willing to say I'm wrong. And I think to a huge amount,
No, it's fine.
to a big perspective, films are personal choices. Like, you take Dune 2, right? Dune 2 is a very, very, very well made film, almost perfect, with a few kind of minor tweaks. Yeah, okay, I enjoyed it. It was good. However, I also watched in the same week Ricky Stenicki, which Ricky Stenicki is one of the worst made films. Absolutely terrible. I fucking loved that film. I howled
God.
all the way through.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
look, it's
God.
like me loving Transformers the movie. That's like my favourite movie, and it's terrible.
Whoa. Careful now.
It is. Objectively, it's trash, but it doesn't matter. But I like Dune a lot more the second time. I would be interested to see what you think when you see it again, James.
Yeah.
And
I'll be interested to see what I see it when I see it again, to be honest, because
I'm going again. I'm going again for a third time.
3 times.
It's a 3-timer, maybe more.
That's a big one. He's got all the time in the world, this kid.
Didn't make me as emotional as X-Men did though this morning.
Oh
Flipping
my
heck.
God. All right.
Yeah.
The
Watch that,
amount that
James.
you've just talked about June, you need to shut the fuck up and let me go on this X-Men.
Yeah.
Have you watched
Crack
both
on.
episodes, James,
Yes,
before we go?
Yes, I have. Yeah. I watched
Yeah,
them
I have.
both yesterday.
Guys, pretty good. It's pretty good.
amazing.
Oh my God. Like, for people that don't know, X-Men is my number one superhero. It was my superheroes. The way that I found out about other superheroes in the Marvel Universe and other things was because I bought X-Men comics and then they would show up in them. So that's my be-all and end-all. They've got the best suits. They've got the best powers. They've got the best team dynamic. They live in this
Best
cool
pockets.
mansion. Best pouches, the most pouches, and the best pouches.
Yeah.
Anyway, the animated series was incredible for its time and still is incredible now in a lot of ways. It's dated. It doesn't work as well as you think it did. What they've done here is a miracle. They've done what you thought they've made what we thought we saw. Like all those years ago,
Yeah.
what our little brains filled in
The
and
memories
like,
of the kid memories, yeah.
it is. I'm blown away by it. Like, I actually can't talk on it. Like, I was like, I'm going to go, but I actually can't get the fucking words out because I was just blown away by it. Like, my wife came in and she's like, "What are you watching?" I'm like, "I'm watching X-Men," because I was just making noises. I was just going, I'm like, "Oh."
Well, I tell you what, Kate said she wasn't bothered because she remembers what she watched the cartoon back when, because everybody did, and she said, "No, it's just." I remember it just being like mental and weird stuff happening, like a soap opera, and I was like, "Yeah." So she wasn't bothered for watching it. And after I watched the first one, I was like, "Kate, I think maybe we should watch this together because I'm pretty sure you'll like this." It's so emotional. Plus, Cyclops is the coolest ever. They've made Cyclops cool again. How did they do that?
Well, firstly, he's never cool because he's a big fucking dweeb, right? Also, he is cool, and that was incredibly cool, the stuff that they had him doing. The creativity that they've shown with how they use their powers, what they're doing, how they're working as a team, the storylines that they pull in sort of more in the second episode, once we get to find out what we're going to be doing in this like first season or whatever. They're really doing some stuff, and it's actually interesting. And there's the dynamics between the actual characters. They're using each other's fucking first names when they're hanging around the mansion. Gambit's got a fucking ponytail you didn't even know about. Get out of town. He's wearing tiny
Gets his abs
pig shorts.
out. Ooh.
Oh man. The voice work for the most part is where it matters. It's really good. So Storm and Cyclops are real standouts, I think.
Magneto's good.
Magneto
as well. I like
was
Magneto's
really good.
Yeah.
Bringing back who they should have brought back, not bringing back maybe who was like, doing a bad caricature at the time, stuff like that. Some of the accented ones are new guys, I think.
And dead ones.
There's some dead ones, yeah.
Yeah.
I just can't. But it's unbelievable how blown away I am by these 2 episodes.
So my takeaway is this: the trailer was really good, and there's that bit in the trailer where Cyclops is like, "To me, my X-Men," and they're all there, and I was like, "Oh, this is going to be really cool. I'm looking forward to this." But then when that happened in the episode, right before when they're all flying in the sky,
my God,
and he just says, "I'll see you on the ground," and then he uses his blast to stop himself and lands. I was like, "That's the coolest shit I've ever seen."
Yeah,
like
that's
the best use of a superpower ever.
But getting to that point, though, they're all in the sky. The X-Jet's been blown. There's spoilers, obviously, in this. But just watch the show. Just watch it. They're blown out of the sky. They've got some flyers on the team, obviously, so that's fine. But, like,
Morph
this
turns
is animation.
Into Angel.
Morph turns into late game Archangel because he's got the metal wings, but he's in a blue suit, which is, I don't know if we ever even saw in the original series. We saw him become Archangel. I don't know if how much we saw him after that. It's just the way that and so it's like, because Rogue winks at Storm, they're like, well, we'll get them. And him turning it into, and I'm like, hang on, so they're going to use more, because what was Morph in the original show? He's not into that much. He's sort of like a giggling little moron. He's got some weird stuff with Mr. Sinister. But in this, everyone has an incredible usage. Like they're using, he can turn into anyone. So of course he can use their powers. Like that's amazing. Having it's just, there's so much rattling, so much happened. Like there's just, I'm gonna have to watch them again, to be honest. I think Morph I'm just gonna watch them.
They used Morph really well for like clever little callbacks and stuff as well. Like when he was fighting in the courthouse with Executioner, and like Morph, he changed into Lady Deathstrike. He changed into
Cyclops and Colossus.
That was it. Was like, oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
It was wicked.
So I absolutely loved it. I was blown away. But what I thought was really cool was how they structured the episodes, and obviously with Jean Grey being pregnant, and then she kind of pulled out the kind of early.
Like Cyclops should have. Hey.
Pulled out the Phoenix suit, and she kind of. I was trying to gloss over that. And she pulled out.
Unless it's like a little baby Wolverine, that'd be.
She pulled out like the
That'd be
pulled
something.
out the Phoenix suit, and she nodded back to all of that. And then massive spoilers: you get Jean Grey 2, Madeline Pryor popping up at the end. But is that Madeline Pryor? Is the Jean Grey that we've been following?
That was
Madeline
like
Pryor?
a real cliffhanger. I was like, oh, they're bringing cliffhangers back. Nice.
Oh, very clever. It kind of makes it. It brings, like you were saying, soap opera, Matt. It brings in that element. And what those cartoons are always clever at is giving fun twists on classic stories. And so here, is it? How's this going to go? Is it the Jean Grey that's had the baby Nathan, baby Cable with Cyclops? Is that going to be Maddie Pryor, and the one that's turned up actually Jean Grey, or is it the other way around?
Yeah,
we know, like, there's been toy spoilers, so
Goblin
I don't know if
Queen.
you guys. So one of them is going to be Goblin Queen.
Oh man, Cyclops is so cool. Oh yeah.
It's phenomenal. It's just a masterclass of we have Nightcrawler's not shown up yet. It was great. It had all the nostalgia stuff, but importantly,
not just for its sake though. Like
it stood on its own. Yeah, it stood on its own 2 feet, and it's like it's made it into something that's genuinely compelling. And now you've got Bishop
off the charts, good as well.
Like Bishop seems to be playing quite a significant part. So then, obviously, with Nathan being born now, you've got, are they going to start bringing the Cable stuff? Are they going to have? There's loads.
100%.
I mean, the avenues they can go down. It's just great. It's good. Like going back to what you were saying, Florrie. For me, it's like that's the kind of generation. There was the X-Men cartoon. There was the Batman the Animated Series. They were like my gateways into comics. So it's kind of like reigniting all of that, but it's all of those storylines you knew and you could relate to. And
Spider-Man as well. I wonder if they'll do like Spider-Man 98 or something now, because I really like the Spider-Man animated series.
What's quite interesting though,
Spider-Man.
Well, so they've called it 97, haven't they? Because that's the year that it ended. Why didn't they call it 92, which is the year that it started?
Well, because
Or is
that's
it
what
because-
they're retroactively
Because
calling
it's the year that
original
it's set
series.
in. It's set in.
Yeah, this is set in
1998.
97.
Oh, okay. So it's like linearly, it's 97.
Yeah.
Okay, got you. Yeah.
So that Spider-Man show too, that was in the same universe. So they could bring that, because he visited the X Mansion and wanted help from Xavier or whatever.
That's what I mean. That would be really cool if they did that as well.
Oh, the only one of the problems that I have with it is that it's so good that there's no way that they can do this well in the MCU. So that's just fucked. There's no way
They should have
that.
like that was the one thing I said is this is live action worthy. They could have done this as the actual just X-Men movie.
I think what they would,
You know what I mean? Like that kind of style,
Yeah.
the way they look, the way they use the powers, not necessarily the story exactly the same, but elements of it, and the fact that it's all soap opera-y could have been such a good film.
What I hope they will do, because what we're getting here is established X-Men with history. People are leaving the team. People are dying, depowered, like whatever. We haven't seen this before. That side note. It was really. I found it really. I'm excited that I found a lot of it surprising, like what they did with it.
Yeah.
I thought the team would just be the team, and the team would stick. And to give Storm and Cyclops them big, massive moments, and now if anyone does anything really, really fucking cool, I'm gonna be like, oh my god, I'm so stressed because they're gonna kill him or something.
Is Magneto gonna heel turn, or is he gonna stay good?
I think he's just gonna continue being like this. You're not gonna know, because he's not really doing either. He's gonna, if you fuck with him enough, he will destroy you. But if you let him, he's gonna try and be good.
There was that scene. There was that scene where he was kind of where he broke into the tunnel with the Federation of Humanity, and he kind of rescued Leech and those guys.
Morlocks.
It wouldn't. Yeah, it wouldn't It wouldn't surprise me if like the Genosha thing is him building up another
little secret army.
Yeah,
there will
like
100%, whether it's season 1, season 2, season fucking 10. He will take that helmet off the shelf and put it on, and we will know that everyone is fucked.
I've had enough of this.
I've had enough of this bloody fucking... And then it will be awesome, because he will have tried to be a good guy for
They've
however long.
Really powered him up properly as well, because they never really, like in the movies and stuff, they never had him powered up to that sort of god level.
No.
Like when he's just level. Like got the assassin down, and he's just like got his foot on him, and he's just like, I could squash you, basically.
Yeah,
and it's they're going to get. They've got no choice but to pardon him.
It sounds like they're loosely going to follow that kind of Chris Claremont like 94 storyline where Cyclops and Jean Grey and Maddie Pryor had that kind of issue. Storm's kind of buggered off a bit, but then Storm comes back and ends up being the leader, and all that kind of stuff. It seems like it's that kind of tangent that they're going to follow, which is cool, because that was a kind of super cool kind of thread. But then perhaps bring in some of the more modern stuff with like the Genosha thing and all of that. Like I have to be honest, I haven't read a current X-Men comic since Astonishing X-Men. I think was probably the last thing that I read regularly.
Years.
But Astonishing X-Men's incredible though. Up until I don't know if we can. I mean, he did the work, but that was a great comic. It's cool that this show exists and seems to, we're at least getting 2 seasons. So what's that? 20 episodes, I think, at least.
Yeah.
So that's really cool, and it's something to look forward to.
I
would have watched all of these 10 times already if they'd put them out all today. So I'm glad.
I hope that they keep the Marvel animation. You know that drum, because it bleeds cool. into the intro music. But I was just like instantaneously excited before the X-Men music even started.
If you look at that too, I think what I didn't really think about it at the time, but what you said before about them like bringing back some of those older shows, it does have the art is like the old Fantastic Four show and the old Spider-Man show.
They can just like they did with the Marvel Studios one, just put stuff in it as it goes on, and as they add more and more, and like even do Guardians of the Galaxy in that animation.
Yeah, the
MCU.
The animation style was just incredible as well.
Without
nice chromatic aberration as well, which is always cute to see.
Beast used a Sentinel as a mech in this show.
It did.
That was Storm turned the fucking desert to glass, and then
Yeah.
like, oh man,
Omega level threat.
Oh.
Omega level threat. That was so
Yeah.
cool.
they made Master
It's-
Mold look really cool, which is
Yeah.
which is insane. Like, wow, it's just top tier stuff. Top tier stuff.
Yeah, it is. Without throwing a spanner in the works, it is going to be interesting to see what they do with, because obviously for reasons unknown, we don't know, the showrunner who wrote the bulk of
yes.
this season 1 has kind of obviously been displaced. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of unfolds and how they deal with that, because he seems to have a
I have to find another really good writer, I guess.
yeah.
I mean,
but
we know all these shows have it's a team effort, right? There's a couple of
Sure.
hundred
Yeah.
people on this show, so I mean, I'm sure he's done the Bible or whatever, but I doubt that he wrote every single episode by himself. So, you know, hopefully the rest of the team, if it continues past season 2, which it seems like it's going to be a pretty big hit, but it's all anyone's sort of talking about today. So hopefully, yeah, they can keep it rocking, or we just get 2 really cool seasons of a thing that never should have happened. We never should have got this. It's a miracle that this is good. And it
it's just
exists.
that it's just that to me, my X-Men was just such a goosebump.
Oh, it really was.
It was
I
amazing.
cried in this show like 3 times, and not even
Magneto's
from like
speech, you know, when he's got them up
and
and he's pontificating and saying, like, you know, that made me feel emotional, because it's the whole sort of classic thing with the X-Men of anybody who's felt like an outsider,
yeah,
which is
that's-
most people
most
can
people, yeah.
identify with the X-Men, and then that's what's so powerful about it, I think.
Yeah.
It's like, what was he saying? It was sort of saying like, what would be enough? Like, you're never gonna. You all say you'll accept us if we sort of do this, that, and the other, but you know we're too different. You can't seem to get past it. Do I have to fucking drop this big chunk of the courtroom? Maybe.
I like that
Put your hat
basically he
on.
gives them no choice but to pardon him, because he'll just destroy
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, say
You're pardoned.
something.
It's fine,
Say
it's fine,
something.
don't worry.
So cool. So cool. Oh.
But again, so no notes. 10 out
No,
of
it
10.
was really
Nothing.
perfect. 10 out of 10, yeah. It's really, really good. Surprisingly, I knew I was going to enjoy it no matter what, but like you can't help but feel like animation, it's sort of like
It's
the
hard.
cheaper end of something. It's not live action, it's not as prestigious or whatever. But this was the best Disney Plus Marvel thing so
You know what
far.
this feels-
By far, it was incredible.
I have a similar feeling, like maybe more intense just because X-Men's my thing, but I have a similar feeling to this as I did to Picard season 3.
Yeah.
And like at the end of that, when you're on the Enterprise D with the crew and it's all rebuilt and it's like perfect and it ends perfectly, and I'm just like, we're so lucky we shouldn't have got. I feel like things don't happen like this anymore.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to have nice things.
When Worf is snoring at the end because he's an old man and he's asleep because they've done their adventure and he's just like
yeah.
stuff like that, when they've just thought about it and they know the history, but then they do it so it's still accessible to people who haven't necessarily seen it. It's like such a fine line. Brilliant.
Yeah, little things, and I think this show had that similar stuff. Like they felt like a team that had been living in this house. I'm like, get away from each other. You hate that Gambit's just cooking donuts in the kitchen. Like, walk the other way, Scott. But like, they're always, because they're brothers. Like, they've been doing it for you've got to razz each other up, right? Wolverine's gonna just like walk up and clip you around the ear hole just so you'll fight him or whatever. It's just great stuff. Yes, well, that's probably enough of that. What else have we been doing? You know what?
Trailers?
I did. Yeah, there's been those.
Oh,
Hang on, let me
trailers,
say
yeah.
one. Invincible. If we're not on Invincible, I need to give that a shout out because I jumped back in, watched that first half of the season they put out a few months ago, and now that show, like season 1 was really good. I don't know if you guys watched Invincible.
Yeah, I watched it.
I'd say season 2 and the special the Adam Eve special they did as well. I watched all that. I'm like, this is really something as well. Like, I don't know if I'll be able to watch that animation style now that I've seen X-Men. I've been spoiled now, but that's a really
Action
good show
in
too.
that.
That's really awesome.
They animated it up a bit in the X-Men, didn't they? So it's got that sort of punchy action. It's like the opening sequence, the opening titles. It's that, but across the whole It's a bit, remember, like Thundercats, like the most exciting thing ever is the first 20 seconds when it's the theme tune, and then the actual cartoon is them stood around going like that. But this, they keep that excitement of the dynamic animation through
if
the
anything,
actual episode.
If anything, it's better. It's like, it's crazy.
Well, there was a good episode.
Transformers. Give me 5 minutes of Transformers in this art style. My God.
There was a good episode of Weekly Planet last week where they were talking about real Ghostbusters, and they were on about introductions.
Oh, yeah.
And if you look across like real Ghostbusters, Thundercats, He-Man, Action Force / G.I. Joe, and all of those lot, the intros are absolutely banging because that's where they put all the money into it, because that's what everyone gets razzed up. That's everything, along those. And it was, but this seemed to kind of transcend that. But even the original series, I think we're kind of glossing over the fact that I think one of the reasons that this new revival is so successful is because the original cartoon was so good.
Yeah, even though like the animation doesn't hold up, it still gets the gist of the X-Men, that old series, and like they go through it a lot fast. I think they're pacing it a bit slower, because the old ones, they would do stuff in like 3 episodes, and it was like a massive arc. But they still did get the characters right in the old cartoon, and it felt like this was that, just with a bit more breathing space,
And I would argue that like we look at that animation now, and but you look at other stuff from even around that time or a smidge earlier, and it still shits on a lot of other stuff from that time.
The only one really that's better is Batman the Animated Series, and that's just a weird anomaly of still untouchable perfection, That's
my Netflix rewatch. They're bringing that back? They're still bringing that back?
They were going to, but it won't be right, because what's so good about that is the quality of the animation. It's like the Fleischer Supermans. It's sort of so handmade. And no matter how much they do it, it'll just look artificial and filtered through a computer, which worked fine for this X-Men. I think it works perfect. But Batman animated series is like so handmade, isn't it? And so perfect.
It's got like film grain on it and stuff.
Yeah, it's there's no way they could do it now, because it was all just hand done.
So Amazon bought that, didn't they, off Warner Brothers, because Warner Brothers ditched it as is their raison d'etre.
Normal men, we're just normal men.
Yeah, we're just normal men.
Ditching stuff for all the reasons.
So Amazon have bought it. It's all finished, apparently, because Kevin Conroy's voiced it all, Mark Hamill's voiced it all. But it seems to just be... it
won't look right. I bet you.
Again,
it won't look right.
This is what I'm saying. We can't have nice things. That's why X-Men gets 6 out of 5, I think, because it's a very nice thing. Trailers. Did you want to talk about new trailers? Because we had some cool ones recently. Yeah, even today was the Alien Romulus.
Yesterday,
Romulus? What the hell's the movie?
Yeah, Romulus.
Yeah,
I like the sort of Half-Life tinged vibe to the facehuggers. Remember Half-Life? And that would just fly out everywhere. And it's like any window, one would jump out, and you'd be like, ah! There's a bit in Half-Life where you're on a lift and they're just jumping at you, like 50 of them at a time. And there's those bits with the facehuggers where they're just... That was cool.
I enjoy a Fede Alvarez joint generally. His Evil Dead is very good. It isn't Evil Dead, but it's awesome. He did Don't Breathe, right? That's that one was
he doesn't
really,
hold
really good.
back. It's kind of like
no,
that
he's
kind
hard.
of like,
he goes hard,
which is what you want from Aliens. So it's going to be maybe closer to the first Alien, so maybe less action and more just hard horror, which is what the first Alien is.
It kind of looks like it might go. This would be dumb, but like what I thought watching that trailer was that this might run almost in real time. So like, because it looks like it's just going to be a haunted house type situation.
Well, there's a bed, isn't there, and it's all bloody. So I'm assuming somebody
they've all been woken up. Yeah,
they've woken up because somebody in cryostasis or whatever is.
Well, I might be
there
wrong
already.
I read something very brief because I've not really followed this. I
don't like to follow.
No, I was only mildly interested because I liked his stuff. But you with Aliens and Predator, I think we've kind of just been. It's just been spoiled, I think, over the past few years. But then I watched the trailer. I was like, actually, this does look good. So I did a little bit of reading. I think it's mostly kids on this, or young adults that are on this.
Okay.
That are on this starship.
That's interesting.
So it kind of plays into. It seems like a weird amalgam of the first Alien film with like a teen horror, which he seems to be very good at.
That could
with
be good.
Evil Dead and Don't
Yeah.
Breathe and stuff. So yeah, no, I watched that trailer and I thought it's funny you should say the Half-Life thing, Matt, because I was trying to kind of pinpoint what it is that it reminded me of. But yeah, I loved that
It's
game.
I've got video game vibes, which is no bad thing.
No.
What if
No.
we are living later this year? We could be living in a world where where Predator and Alien are good again.
Yeah,
And
'cause
they've
Prey
both
was
been
really
done by Disney, which is
and he's
fucking wild.
making another one. Well, the guy that's
Oh.
running, the guy that's in charge of the studio of
20th
Fox-
century.
not Fox, 20th century. Sorry, yeah, because it's not Fox anymore, is it? I'm sure I read an interview somewhere or a sound bite from him where he said, "It's got to be worth being made."
Mm.
So, like,
Yeah.
he would only greenlight it if there's got to be a reason for it. So it's not just we need to sort of mine this franchise. It's like Prey is a really good idea.
Yeah.
Can
And,
we
like,
make
it's
it
like
for
this Apes,
80 mil?
the new Apes trailer is really good as well. Have you seen the new Apes trailer? I was like,
Yeah.
I wasn't convinced because that trilogy was so good, but the new trailer, I was like, oh, cool. So it's much further ahead. They're a civilization now, and I thought that looks good.
It's a
Yeah.
similar thing. Like
And
I'd written
Bortus is the orangutan. You know the orangutan?
Ooh.
That's Bortus from the Orville. I was like, I recognise that voice. And I looked
That's
and it's
cool.
Bortus. My
I
favourite.
had a similar feeling before we saw trailers for Alien and Apes, because they've changed both series of sort of. I'm like, I don't know. These aren't the directors I would want. Like necessarily, like we have the Noah Hawley Alien thing, which I think was what soured me on this film, because I'm like, well, I'd rather his just be. I mean, he's going to do some weird shit because he's awesome. Everything he's ever made is awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it'll be different. But that kind of like turned me off this. And then like the fact that it wasn't Matt Reeves doing the Apes, I'm like, no one can do it as good as him. Those Apes movies shouldn't be good. But it looks like we most likely will get 2 good films, which is really cool.
Trailer's really good. I mean, sometimes a trailer can betray you, can't it? It could be a really good trailer and the film's rubbish. For example, that's definitely what's going to happen with Furiosa, isn't it? That's going to just be a terrible film.
The best trailer
That trailer is so good. There's no way the film can live up to that. You know what? I think it's probably going to.
He's popped off on this. I think he's just going to do it again. I think we'll all be like, hang on,
when
this one's
Hemsey's
better.
like, ready, steady, go. It's so funny. I was like, oh my gosh, that's Australian people from when I was a kid. That's what you all sounded like.
Yeah,
he's bloody. He's like, he's putting it on. He's like, what did I describe it as? It's your dad's dodgy mate who shows up like unannounced twice a year. That's who he's playing.
Yeah.
It's just like he's already had a couple of beers when he rocks up, and it's a 42 degree day, and you're like, where did Jerry come from? What's he doing in the backyard?
If you look at the trailer, this is going to be different because like Fury Road is like a day basically or 2, isn't it? It's just a chase.
Blue night.
Whereas this is from when she's young to older because he's got grey hair and a few bits in the trailer, and then he's ginger or whatever. So it's going to be years and years that go over in this movie.
Could be really cool if we see when he said he was doing this, I was like, no, just do somewhere else in the wasteland, completely different shit, do something else, right? As much as I like the characters and all that sort of, well, they're not really characters. He can just do whatever he wants, which he seems like he is anyway. But the reason I wanted different things is because I wanted to see the creativity that I saw with Fury Road again. I wanted to see just what sort of insane shit that he could do. And I think him doing it over a lot of time and over a lot of different places, I think it seems like we're going to visit different places. That's what I wanted. And I'm getting it anyway. And that is cool. It looks
It's not going to just be Fury Road again. It's obviously got chases and stuff, but I think there's going to be, well, it says a saga, doesn't it? So it's going to be epic film
Dumbest
style.
fucking name ever. Like, I mean, come on. What are we doing
Well,
with
Furious,
these
you know,
names?
and
someone
Mad
was like,
Max
"You got to have
Saga?
Mad Max on there somewhere for some reason, so that
Stupid
people
shit.
know what it is." And he
It's
probably
gonna
just
be
went, "Whatever, if it gets me the movie made, you can have your."
Well, I guess
time."
that's it.
Yeah.
They're not overly concerned if they get to make their film and do it how they want. And I mean, who's like, but who's doing this? I get it's marketing stuff, and these goons just have no idea.
Normal men. It's just normal men, innocent men.
I'll tell you right now, if Frozen Empire wasn't called Frozen Empire, everyone would be way more stoked about it. I
Yeah.
can tell you that right
Yeah.
now.
I mean,
Everyone got everyone offside.
The trailers for that, they don't seem to push it towards it being a comedy, or
I don't think it is a
looks like
comedy.
a generic blockbuster movie. It looks like from the trailers, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
so-
I'm gonna go see it. But...
It's so strange with the Ghostbusters thing. I've been reading quite a lot of reviews and stuff over the past
Oh,
few
James,
days.
don't do that.
No, I know, but some of them are going, "Oh, it's the funniest Ghostbusters film made," and others going, "Oh, it's
not funny
just-
at all."
there's
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
it's like if you go with it, it's like any film. It's like Napoleon. If you didn't go with it within the first 5 minutes, I can see how it would just piss you off, because it's like it's presented as a gladiator style big historical epic. But
Yeah.
it's actually a dumbass comedy about a jerk who doesn't like anybody telling him what to do, and it's brilliant if you go with it that way. So maybe Ghostbusters is the same. You could, if you don't go with it right, it just rubs you the wrong way straight away. You know.
Well, this is the thing. I'm kind of glad that my expectations have been lowered to a degree, because I'm going
I
to go and
agree.
watch it now and then kind of go in and be like, "Oh, okay, it's good. If it's
Like-
good, I'll be okay."
I told my mate to watch Napoleon because I knew he would like it, Ben, and it's just the sort of film he like. And I said, it's not historically accurate, it doesn't matter. And he messaged me to say about the pyramids. I'm going to read it, what he said. He said, that was great, lol. He just obviously fancied a cannon fired at the pyramids. Who cares if that happened? Because he does. Napoleon just shoots cannons at everything.
Excellent.
That's
Well,
the
that's what
thing.
it's a
It was
movie.
really
It's
good.
Like, it's like the Dune thing. It's like you're making a film. You got to make the film the way the film needs to be made. And if
he's
you
got
have to
his-
shoot
he's
cannons
got
and
his-
stuff, that's what
He's
you
got
got
his
to do.
wife, Josephine, and it's about them two. And he does this thing when he wants to have the sexy time.
Oh, here we go. Here we
He goes
go.
like,
Oh,
so it's just so random. He just comes in the room and he's just like that. Joaquin Phoenix
some
like
sort
that.
of-
And she's like, oh, fair enough then.
oh.
It's brilliant. I really liked it a lot.
Maybe you should try that one, Matt. Maybe the
Yeah, I might try that one, yeah.
But the Ghostbusters thing,
great.
right? So I watched all three yesterday. No, the day before. I watched
All three in one day?
All three in one day. Yeah, I went on it.
Because there are only three.
Exactly correct. So I
Yes.
watched 1, 2, and Afterlife.
On the
And when I
proper
got through-
timeline. So not
Yeah,
the
yeah.
2016
The sacred
one.
timeline of Ghostbusters. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So perfect classic number 1, right? Second one, good movie.
Yeah.
Perfectly fun Ghostbusters movie, not as good as the first one. So obviously it's the worst movie that's ever existed.
Best,
Right?
It's got the best scene in any Ghostbusters movie, though.
It's
So what are
great.
you going
The
to do?
Scoleri brothers.
Yeah, it's really good. And that woman, yeah, it's all that stuff's great. The third one is arguably the second best Ghostbusters film, and taken in a vacuum is just a very, very good movie. I really
Mhm.
enjoyed it. I got emotional again in certain parts of it. And I'm not massive. I love the first one. Like it was good when we were kids or whatever, but I'm not the James level like fan of it, where it's the greatest thing and I want to paint my car white and put the friggin' logo on it. But they're great films.
That'd be cool.
That would be. It wouldn't be cool at all, but he'd do it. He'd love to. Look
You
at him.
don't need to
Look how
now because
psyched-
you can get a Mercedes Sprinter with the Ghostbusters logo on.
Oh, get one of those for us to take to the
The
Thought Bubble this
marketing's
year.
really
That'd be
odd.
cool. That'd be cool.
The tie-in marketing on it is very odd and very commercial and.
What was I
strange.
saying?
I saw like a weird anime poster for it. So they got some anime artists to do
Mm.
a poster, and they're going after a different demographic than us, basically.
Mhm.
Oh,
I think
that's what I was
they
saying.
know that we're too jaded and dumb to like it. Probably.
There is that. So that third one is just it's reintroducing this concept, right? It's not necessarily trying to be either of the other films. And I think in that it succeeds perfectly. It's really cool. I want the kids to watch it, but it's maybe a little bit too scary. I think they'd go for it. What I did at the end of it after I was like, that was an awesome film. I love that movie. I went and looked because the scores had come out for Frozen Empire hovering around a 50%. And I was like, oh, okay. I wonder what the other one was. And it was around a 60% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm like, that is not a 60% film. Get fucked.
It's not.
So
82%.
If this film is, say that's like whatever score you would give Afterlife, if this is 3/4 as good as that, I'll be stoked on it.
Yeah. I agree. We had this conversation the other day. If it's the third best Ghostbusters film, I'm going to be really happy.
It's all about expectations with films, isn't it? Like, and so nowadays, so many people go in with expectations, and then it's what happened with the Star Wars movies, where people wanted a certain thing, and that's not what they got given, so they hate them.
There's also
a fan service. How far do you go, or how far do you not go? You know.
There's also a trends thing with reviewers and all of that stuff, and I just think everybody's got it in for Sony at the minute.
Oh, pylon! It's a pylon.
Did you see what IGN
goes
did?
a certain way, and it's like a brain. It's like the mass brain goes a certain way on stuff on certain films. It's really weird.
Yeah. So IGN's review of this Ghostbusters Afterlife, and I know this from Kind of Funny because Greg's a big Ghostbusters. He's probably the biggest Ghostbusters man. Anyway, they gave it a 4 out of 10 after Frozen Empire. They gave Madam Web a 5 out of 10. If you shit in a bucket and threw it on the screen for 2 hours, it would be better than Madam Web. I'm sorry, that's an incoherent nightmare of a film that should never have been made. This at least has competent actors and set design and all that sort of shit.
They're not being given what they expect or what they want. So,
what they want.
Or they'll say, we don't like this fan service, we don't like that, oh, we've seen that before, etc., etc. It's like the fan service stuff in Afterlife that people didn't like. I liked it because it tied back to the story and the character of Egon wanting to stop that happening again.
Yep.
So then why wouldn't it be the same ghost and stuff? And why wouldn't it be this place where he set up before the guy?
They came
I liked that about it. It wasn't just fan service because there was a story for it in the story for it to happen. It's like he took all the proton packs because they were doing that. There was a reason for it, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
However,
it was brilliant.
Don't know whether this new one does that or not. It might just be fan service, so we'll find out when I see it.
It might not be good, but we'll find out next week, I guess.
Yeah. Some of the comments that I've seen do kind of correlate with my concerns. We were talking about this yesterday, the three of us. Just that it kind of, from the trailers, you do get a sense that the cast is a bit bloated. But again,
there's 100 people in it.
I've got quite. I mean, that Gil Kennan, or whatever his name is, Monster House, I think, and Paranorman, that was his as well, wasn't it?
City of Ember, I think. That's a good movie, City of Ember.
So we'll see. I'll go and see it on probably Sunday, and we'll kind of chit chat about it next time.
Well, if we can get back on these in a regular, we're planning to try and do these regularly again. So next week, stay tuned. Ghostbusters talk.
Might talk about some posters.
Oh nah, what for?
Because we do that.
Posters on a poster podcast.
We do that. I think sometimes. Well, actually, I've got a thing out today, haven't I? An old new thing, I think.
An old new thing.
It's already been out, but it will still be out because it's editions. So Jaws is on sale.
There you go.
Jaws editions. All Man's
so if you missed
Jurassic Park editions.
If you missed it, or you're always complaining. Yep.
Me and James are looking at bringing quads back.
Yeah, in POG form.
Yeah, we've not done quads since the John Carpenter ones, and they were a nightmare. But we're looking at bringing it back.
Yeah, we've got better processes in place now.
Yeah.
We've got, and also I think we got so caught up with the quads and wanting to do them double-sided, didn't we, and work on a light box, which actually is just you kind of have to strip back what are you wanting to do them for and why wanting to do them. And 95% of people aren't going to want them in a light box and double-sided.
Yeah, and they would still work in a light box. You just need to turn the light down a bit. when it's
And
not
having
double
got a
side.
couple of quads personally framed at home, they're actually a really good size when it comes to a big.
If you want a centerpiece that's so good, you can't beat it.
Yeah, we've got the original airplane quad in our kitchen.
I even commented yesterday when I was on a call with James because he was in his kitchen. I said, I like that poster up there, the airplane poster.
It works.
However, he used to have my Guardians of the Galaxy posters up there. So, you know.
Got ditched.
Relegated to the guitar room.
To be fair, that is a really, really nice poster, that airplane poster.
It is
looks
good.
lovely.
It's
the
cool.
quad just makes it as well.
It was got it from Mark Hockman at Vintage Posters. It got linen backed by, what was that company called, Matt? Can you remember?
You're asking the wrong person. I told you about this
Backs
company.
are us.
Yeah, they got the creases out and not out because you can still see some of the creases, but they got it because the poster when we got it was trash, and I didn't pay a huge amount for it. It was folded. It had been folded for 40
They
years.
repair it, don't they? But they can do it as much or as little as you want, and you kind of.
Yeah.
I feel with a vintage one, it's nice to
middle.
be able to see a little bit of the
Correct.
age of it. But
They did. They gave
can-
us like 3 stages. They were like, "Do you want it this? Do you want it this? Do you want it this?" And I kind of went with the middle one.
yeah, that's what
And
I did
then
with my
it
one.
got framed by Bay Framing. Tom Chester's at Bay Framing, and he's done a really good job.
It
It's nice.
looks absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
Really good.
So we're looking at bringing those back. One last thing then, before we wrap up, that I want to
Yeah.
talk about. James Bond casting.
Oh yeah.
We've that's been
It
heavily
might be Aaron,
intimated.
Anna Taylor-Joy.
Yeah, Nats
Yeah,
isn't
perfect.
happy.
Furiosa's James Bond.
I'll take
I've
it.
seen that online quite a few times. Like people are like, "What?"
Yeah, no, I mean, as a James Bond fan, I'm broadly happy with that. He was one of my choices.
Yeah, I remember you saying
A
him
while
way,
back.
way back before River from Slow Horses changed
Yeah.
everybody's mind.
River from Slow Horses, having watched Slow Horses, would have been my preferred
Hey.
favourite.
You've not watched Slow Horses yet, have you?
Me. I'm
Yeah.
not looking at you. I'm reading how X-Men's reviews scores Marvel's highest out of everything that they've ever
Really?
done.
Look,
Mm.
listen. Slow Horses. James can confirm now.
Yeah, but I don't like. I'm not into horses, and I don't like slow things.
Oh, I hate you
know?
all. It's
You know what?
It's season 3 is just incredible. That's all, and he would be a better James Bond. However, Aaron Taylor-Johnson is a good choice.
I have to admit, as reluctant as I was, and I kind of don't normally like these dour kind of spy drama things. It's not. Slow Horses is
Yeah,
probably
I gotta watch it.
second to The Bear last year, I think. And season 1's great. Season 2's
Hang on a
okay.
minute.
Season 3's incredible.
It may have been on this very program. Didn't you watch one and say, "Ooh, I don't like it"? Was that you?
You
I'm
have
sure that was
to-
it.
Me?
Yeah,
No,
you have
I
to
said
just-
I don't like For All Mankind.
yeah,
No, he
but that
didn't like For All Mankind.
Okay.
Oh God, the end of For All Mankind, the last
Oh
season.
my
that.
god, we can't do this. We can't do this. We'll be doing another hour.
Too good. The asteroid. Oh my God, too good.
If anyone's wondering what this is that I've been putting in my mouth the whole time, it's Cyclops' extra head. Look at that.
Beautiful.
Ah, there you
Perfect. Just
Yeah,
a little.
look, I don't recommend bad stuff, but I do recommend stuff where you have to put a bit of work in to watch it. It's like Napoleon. I'm telling you, that's really good, but you have to bloody pay attention. So it's anything that I like tends to be that way.
go.
So,
All right.
you know, you might not like
And-
it straight off Slow Horses, but it's worth it.
I think I will. I've never met a Gary Oldman that I haven't liked.
It's the best
You know?
he's ever been in anything. That's how good.
Why
Honestly,
didn't you just
he's never
say
been
that
better.
then?
Did say that, you stupid
Nah,
asshole.
I don't think so. I've heard it both ways. Well, shall we get off this then, so I can go watch Slow Horses?
Fine.
Right. Good.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Nice tight
Well,
hour.
Yeah,
What do you think about James
105.
Bond casting first?
Oh yeah, we didn't
say
actually
James
talk
is-
about it.
James
Oh,
James
yeah.
Cole
Talked about
Mentioned
Slow
it.
Horses.
Yeah, whatever.
James called it, didn't he? So we know that. James said it was going to be him ages ago. So James was
Yeah.
right.
And we're
I then
we're
said
convinced
Slow
on
Horses
this?
guy, and that derailed it. And what do you think?
So what's the word? Is it definite, or we're just all saying
So
this?
they've offered it.
It's kind of
Okay.
British tabloid thing, isn't it? It popped up on
Well,
the Daily Mail, and I was
They're
like,
also
"Meh,"
saying
but
what's
then
her face is dead, though. So you know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that'll do for this
Thank
week, I
you,
think,
everyone.
considering we're going to be back. Thanks for listening. Give us a like, smash the buttons, do something, because I'm tell you what, right now, I'm not showing up for like 40 views. All right. I'll quit.
Yeah.
I'm out.
I want
So
50
watch
views.
this, tell
and
your
I'll-
friends.
If there's 50 views, I'll come again.
Oh, all right.
I don't know who
what
you're
about
trying to
appearing on
hold
the
hostage
show?
here.
What about appearing on the show again, though?
I mean, I thought we were doing this more for ourselves, so we could get to talk to each other rather than whatever.
No,
Yeah.
it's purely for commercial reasons.
Well,
We
now I've
want
had
to become
enough
YouTube
because I
stars. I want to be
talked
rich.
Yeah, I'd love that too. I talked to Matt for an hour and a half before you got to work, so maybe now I've just had enough, all right? This has been a very long
Fair enough.
podcast for me. All right? Yeah.
Yeah,
all right.
fine.
All right. We're out. All right. Ciao, everybody. See you next week, hopefully. Did you actually stop it yet? Or is he just gonna... He's not doing
Oh, no,
anything?
it's still going. I'll stop it. Stop it.